Entrepreneurship is way easier than a 9 to 5 as a software engineer. How are we? How are we doing? Good? I mean, sure, entrepreneurship is way harder mentally and creatively. You have to say no to family and friends and guard your time closely. You will consistently doubt the path that you are on. You might even doubt if you have what it takes and if it will all work out in the end. But I truly believe doing something difficult that you love will always be easier than wasting your life doing what you hate. And just to be in a position to become an entrepreneur with a profitable business, I worked pretty much every kind of safe job in tech that you can think of. Hell, I started my coding journey in robotics. I then went to become a research engineer at UCLA studying the human consciousness. I then interned at NASA as a computer engineer. I then went and climbed the corporate ladder at Fortune 500 as a software engineering consultant. I managed team, talked to stakeholders, made manager, all these things. And some of these jobs were extremely difficult. Like I remember grinding through agile sprints because upper management pushed up the deadline and there was nothing we could do about it. And some of these 9 to 5s were very easy. Whole days where the most demanding part of the day was pretty much showing up to a daily stand-up meeting and then I could be AFK for the rest of the day. But looking back, all of these jobs were all the same level of difficulty because I simply wasn't passionate. Every single day to me felt like an existential crisis dressed up as productivity. Different titles, but the same exact feeling. It didn't matter to me what the job was. The most grueling part was the sacrifice of doing something that I didn't care about and consciously wasting my own time asking myself, what am I doing? Sitting in meetings I couldn't give less of a shit about, working on a project that didn't mean anything to me, and on top of everything, being on a W-2 where overtime doesn't even get you paid. So quitting the ladder, building a business with no safety net, making payroll for a team, and dealing with churn and rejection uncertainty, there were many times when I had no idea what I was going to do next. I was tackling these issues. And a 9 to 5 will at least give you some sense of stability. I mean, every 2 weeks you get your paycheck on Fridays, but entrepreneurship doesn't even give you 2 weeks notice before a client pauses or a deal falls through. But to lump every 9 to 5 together like they're all monotonous cubicle jobs from the Matrix, that's just people lying for engagement, I'll be honest with you. For example, I'm sure this oil sommelier doesn't hate her 9 to 5 recommending olive oil to people to enjoy one of the tastiest meals of their life. And somewhere there's a boating instructor who literally gets paid to be on Lake Como every single day instructing people how to maneuver a boat. People get so upset when entrepreneurs say that their job is difficult because most people don't even know half of it. They see the villas and the yachts and have an idea that it's all about glitz and glamour. But nobody will ever really care about what you had to do to get where you are. They just see the present. And almost everybody's life is difficult in this world. So the last thing people want to hear is a millionaire complain about it. And if you didn't grow up with money, you're always going to have to work. So the competition isn't who works harder. The real winner is whoever doesn't have to think of it as work at all. Anybody who says a 9 to 5 is harder is saying that to appeal to people who work 9 to 5s, to make them feel better about watching entrepreneurs who are much richer than them. My opinion, do not believe it. It's the furthest thing from the truth. And I don't want that to stay theoretical. It's literally what my week looks like. Usually a trip like this would be considered an escape. You burn your PTO to run away from the office. But this isn't a vacation. It's literally just a random Tuesday. And that's the trade-off that most software engineers miss. We obsess over job security versus the risk of entrepreneurship, but the real trade-off is this. Are you scheduling your life around someone else's goals and dreams? Or are you building a life where the work fits your own goals and dreams? And if you want to see what that mindset looks like in real life, it shows up in the smallest details, like where you choose to eat. Take a look at this place here in Milan. In tech, we love to over-engineer things. We think that the more complex something is, the more value it has. But watch what happens in a restaurant like this. The dish is simple. Only 4 ingredients. And yet, there's sometimes a wait list that can span for months just to eat here. And this is a reality check for software engineers. You don't need to invent the next Google or the next open API or frankly any of these billion-dollar unicorns. All you need to do is you need to take something extremely simple, make it honest, and execute it better than anybody else. So if you brought the same exact obsession that you have for say code reviews to solving one painful problem for one real person, you'd be shocked at just how fast a boring offer becomes a booked out business.
When people say, oh, it's hard, it's impossible to start a business, especially many software engineers, you'll hear software engineers say, oh, business is not for me. Oh, it's very hard. Oh, I need to know social skills. Oh, I'm not built for it. Oh, I'm not entrepreneurial. Oh, I don't like taking risks. Oh, I like my comfort. Oh, I have a family, I have kids. All this. They'll use any excuse in the book to try to justify why they can't do it. But ask yourself once, what if you can do it? You'll find 1,000 reasons why you can't do it, but you won't look for one reason why you can do it, right? So to me, it's almost never made sense when software engineers, who I think, in my opinion, are the best fit to actually start a business, say that, oh, I'm not fit to start a business, or I shouldn't start a business, or it's not gonna work out, I don't wanna take the risk. It's kind of like being genetically gifted, tall, good stamina, and saying, no, I'm gonna suck at basketball because I don't know how to dribble. Well, learn how to dribble and then go play because you have an advantage in it. Same thing with business. You're not gonna instantly, off the top of your head, be the best business person on the planet, but if you're willing to learn and adopt the skills, you can become somebody, right? So if all you really have to do is just commit to learning a few skills, and you understand from a fundamental perspective, you have an advantage over every other thing in there, why aren't you doing it? So to me, it never made sense.
And the funny thing is, none of this means that you stop working. It just changes what a workday actually looks like. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I still work hard. Harder, I would say, than I used to at my 9 to 5. And once you're not chained to a specific desk or a specific time zone, your environment becomes a decision and not an escape. That's why we came out to Lake Como for a few days. Places like this are an excellent test of what you're actually optimizing for in life. You see, most people would see this and think, oh, sure must be nice. I could never afford something like that. But the real gap usually isn't even about the money. It's about the time. If you stay on the standard senior developer path, you would probably be able to afford something like this once a year or two. But at the same exact time, you would be spending the best years of your life completing Jira tickets. So if you give yourself 3 focused years as an engineer turned founder, your Tuesday night can look exactly like this without having to ask HR if you're allowed to take time off or not. You'll have the same exact brain, the same exact skills. The only difference will be you'll be playing a different game. And yeah, from the outside, it can look a little extreme. But that's exactly how entrepreneurship actually feels at the very beginning. This boat day on Como is a prime example. From the shore, cliff diving will look risky. The cold water, the slippery rocks, what if you mess up, fall the wrong way, hurt your head, all these things. But at some point, you realize, guess what? Staying on land is a risk too. You risk waking up at 55, realizing that you wrote clean code for over 20 years, but never actually built anything that was truly yours, and you don't have anything you can pass down to your family, kids. And the first jump is never graceful. Your form is messy, you're panicking a little bit, you swallow water, you're overthinking everything. But once you're in and you're in the water, your brain goes, wait a minute, I'm not dying. And this was actually pretty fun. Let's do it again. And that's the mental unlock that most senior developers never really get to, because they're still standing at the edge, convincing themselves that the ladder is safer than learning how to swim. And when you start traveling like this, you notice something that's pretty much impossible to unsee, especially walking around Cannes.
Funnily enough, one of the things you realize when you come to Cannes or any other place like this, especially during this time period, is we're probably the only young people here, or at least one of the very few, not considering people obviously with their kids and such. And the reason I bring that up, it's not to say, oh, look at us, we're young and we're rich, we're here, we're going about Cannes and stuff, but rather to say that every single software engineer is very much capable of this. And main reason being is because if anybody could do this, it is software engineers. They would be the best fit to do exactly what it is I'm doing. Not from the perspective of, you making a lot of money remotely and you can be a digital nomad and come and do this exact thing, but rather from the perspective of you can set yourself up in the next 3 years such that you have the time, location, and financial freedom to be able to do exactly what it is you're doing. Now, if you're, let's say, in your 30s or you're not considered quote unquote young by today's standards, still does not matter. You could very well do exactly what I'm doing here in Cannes, and then when we're going to go to Monaco and all these other places, same exact way, because you are best positioned to do so as a software engineer. And I know that might be a little confusing for some of you to understand. You might be thinking that I'm making a very big claim, but I've seen it, I've lived it, and anytime I meet another individual who's, interestingly enough, any other individual that I met that's been young, and they've been at a location such as this, and they haven't come from money and they haven't been a trust funder or something, it's always either been somebody in the crypto space or it's been somebody as a software engineer in a tech space. So interesting how that works. Just actually a few weeks ago, when I was again in Cannes, I met an actual, I believe he was part of the AI startup recently from this very newest seed round for Y Combinator. So there you go. That's pretty much what I just wanted to really quickly kind of address, because I know a lot of you watching this will want to be doing this, you will want to be here yourself to experience this. And I can tell you as a software engineer, there's nobody else on this planet that's a better fit other than you.
But as a software engineer, you sort of have a cheat code. You see, you already have leverage that most people don't. They would dream of having some of the leverage that you have. You understand tech better than, I would say, 99% of the population. And on top of that, you speak the language of the next 50 years, which is, guess what? AI and software. So the real question isn't even, can you afford this life one day? But rather, you should be more worried about, are you okay waiting until you're 60 to be able to live this life? Because with the right business vehicle and the skills that you already have, the gap between one day and this year is actually much smaller than you might think. And I get it. When you see stuff like this next part, it's easy to write it off as luck or flexing or something distasteful. But I want you to take a look at it through a different lens for a second. Driving through Monaco in a Ferrari, you get to see the stereotype in 4K. People assume the driver is either some genius or a trust fund kid. Nobody guesses, oh, this guy's probably an ex-software engineer who simply got sick of the daily stand-up meetings and decided to take a chance on himself. You see, that's the trap of stereotypes. We internalize this idea that we as software engineers are supposed to be the quiet back-end guys, that we just build the product, but we don't sell it. We leave that to the people who understand sales. That we are not the ones who are supposed to be closing deals, that we are not the ones who are supposed to be landing clients, or that we shouldn't be marketing to other people. But think about what you do as a software engineer all day. You debug complex systems, you break vague requirements into clear steps, and last but not least, you ship solutions under extreme pressure, especially if you're on an agile sprint. And that is literally what entrepreneurship is all about. It's the same exact problem-solving brain, just used in a completely different environment. So the moment that you stop seeing yourself as just a stereotypical developer, and you start seeing yourself as more of an operator and owner, trips like these stop feeling like a fantasy or something that you can only watch on the screen. And they start feeling like a natural byproduct of who you have to become to get there. And it's not just the flashy stuff. Even the quieter experiences on this trip ended up teaching me a lot about business that I like to share with you and actually reflect on myself. This perfume workshop that we went to particularly stuck with me. You start with what's called base notes. These are deep, heavy, and long-lasting. Then you have what are called heart notes. These are what people actually experience most of the day. You then have your top notes, especially the first impression that pulls somebody in. And a great scent is just the right ratio of all three. A great business is the exact same. Your base note is the result that you deliver. Your heart note is how you treat your clients. And last but not least, your top note is your marketing and content and what you put out there for the world to see. Essentially, the first impression that makes people kind of lean in and listen to you. Entrepreneurship is what happens when you stop wearing other people's cologne and you actually start designing your own. If this feels far away, don't overcomplicate it. Freedom isn't just about driving Ferraris. It's actually in the little stuff. It's being able to grab gelato at, say, 11. It's being able to take a client call between your morning coffee, between espresso, or just any time throughout the day. It's walking through a new city and exploring it while technically still being at work and still loving it because the problems that you're actually solving matter to you and you're passionate about it. So you don't need to quit your job tomorrow and say, "But I'm gonna go out and do this." You just need to start owning your own output. You need to stop renting your brain out by the hour and you need to build one offer. Help just one person, and do that enough times, repeat it, and something like this Italy trip becomes a side effect of finally betting on yourself. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good one.